Speaker, I move to declare vacant the position of Chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations.
There's a motion. The chair hears no objection. Said motion is carried. Session suspended. Sama-sama nating itutulak ang batas ng mag-aangat sa buhay ng bawat Pilipino.
May I ask Mr. Speaker, what is the status of the printed copies of the General Appropriations Act? Because I understand, as we have read in the papers, that the GAA 2025 was already signed by the President last December 30, and being a long-time member of this Congress, I already presume that by the time we come back here, the printed copies are already on our tables. That's what we usually experience here every year. Pagbalik natin, pagkatapos ng ating Christmas break, nandito na ang printed copies ng GAA. So that's my question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you don't have to answer that now because I know you don't know the answer. So I am just raising this question as a question of privilege because dapat lang ma-aware at ma-inform tayo kung what is the status at bakit wala pa yung ating printed copies ng General Appropriations Act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's just my short question of privilege.
Thank you, Honorable Longab.
This chamber, the People's Chamber, stands as a testament to the enduring strength of democracy. Within these walls, we do not simply draft laws, we give life to the aspirations of a nation, and we shape the destiny of generations yet unborn. This gathering is a moment to reflect on our shared purpose, to serve as stewards of our nation's welfare, architects of its future, and guardians of its dignity. It is a reminder that leadership is not a privilege, but a responsibility, a sacred duty to act, to uplift, and to inspire. Leadership, as I see it, is not defined by the power we wield, but by the lives we change. It is measured not by the number of speeches delivered, but by the silent victories won in the hearts of our people. Victories of hope over despair, prosperity over poverty. In this chamber, our leadership must always be guided by a singular question: how does this serve the Filipino? Every law we pass, every debate we engage in, every budget we approve must answer this, for it is not in the pages of history, but in the lives of ordinary Filipinos that our legacy will be written and remembered. Last year, our nation weathered storms, yet remained resilient. While the final gross domestic product figures for 2024 are still awaited, early projections indicate a solid growth rate in the range of 5.9% to 6.5%, despite the challenges brought about by a series of typhoons and global economic uncertainties. This performance is a testament to the industriousness of every Filipino farmer, worker, and entrepreneur who continue to drive our economy forward. This growth is the fruit of visionary leadership under President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and his transformative Build Better, More infrastructure program, which injected over 1.2 trillion pesos into projects that now connect dreams to opportunities across the archipelago. Yet, let us be clear, numbers alone cannot define progress. Progress is meaningful only if it uplifts the lives of our people. Para saan ang pag-unlad kung hindi makikinabang ang ordinaryong Pilipino? While economic growth brought pride, inflation remained a challenge. And thanks to the decisive action, inflation eased to 4.9%, but the burden remains heavy for many families. Programs like Ayuda sa Kapos ang Kita Program, AKAP, and Kadiwa ng Pangulo were launched not just as economic interventions, but expressions of our empathy. Governance, after all, must be both strategic and compassionate. Good governance demands transparency and accountability. This chamber is the vanguard of that principle. In the coming weeks, we will hold oversight hearings to ensure that people's money serves the people's needs. We will investigate the smuggling and hoarding that undermine our farmers and inflate food prices. We will probe 206 billion pesos in disallowed expenditures by the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, ensuring energy reforms that lower electricity costs. We will demand answers for the 11.18 billion pesos worth of expired medicines and underutilized PhilHealth funds, an affront to every Filipino who struggles for access to health care. And we will scrutinize the alleged misuse of confidential funds, for no peso must go unaccounted for. Let this be our promise. Public trust is sacred, and this House will never betray it. Sa mga umatake sa atin para tumigil tayo sa mga investigasyon, may mensahe tayo sa kanila. Itutuloy natin ang trabaho na inaatang sa atin ng mamamayan. Hindi tayo atras sa anumang laban para sa bayan.